education-wise, to mention but a few. But as we are doing this, we have left the boy somewhere. And the girl that is empowered can now cannot live side by side with the boy that has not been empowered, because they cannot handle this girl child. The men will try to humble this woman so that she can come down to their level, yet that's not how it should be. So when we look at empowerment of women, we need to take a second and actually think about the boy child, the challenges they are facing, where we have left them behind, and how they have been neglected, to find solutions. Because at the end of the day, what we are looking for is equity and equality for both the girls and the boys. That's where we are having our conversation today. And I am speaking to Jennifer Mudondo, who is a human rights you said you are human resource consultant, but also a change advocate, right? Good morning.
Good morning, Monica. How are you? I'm
glad to have you. And this conversation is one that is close to heart, because in as much as I am a very big advocate for everything girls and women, I also understand that we cannot be here when the men are here. Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, we are going to now have a very big problem. Yes. Which now brings us to our conversation today. And you have a book which is The Giant in Hiding. Maybe we could start there and talk about what issues this book is highlighting.
All right, thank you, Monica, for having me. And to the viewers, very good morning. Now, my name is Jennifer Mudondo. The thing that brings food to my table is human resource consulting, and the thing that is close to my heart is family. So I write the book Giant in Hiding. It's a cry to the man to reposition himself as head. And it was after a long time of observing that indeed we are now living with the symptoms of the problem that Monica highlights, of having lifted up the girl and left the boy where he was. We didn't do nothing about him. I think we thought that he was okay as he was, but lo and alas, we find ourselves with so many problems, because the girl is empowered and the girl is eventually his wife. And by empowering, we are giving her a sense of purpose. So she sets a vision, she breaks it down into goals and targets, and is every day drilling to get to the point where she wants to get. But no one has told the boy about the need to live a purposeful life, to have vision. He grows up not even aware that he's going to head a family, that he's going to have people look up to him, but he's going to be the boss, so to speak, of his wife. He's going to be the guy casting the vision. He's going to be the guy his boys are looking up to. But no one is telling him all these things. And now, the thing that started as a little mewing cat has grown up into a big beast that is threatening to eat us up. Yeah? And now the girl, for your information, the girl who was the main project, who was the thing that excited us when we elevated her, is the #1 victim of the failure of the boy. Yeah? So that is the subject of the book, Giant in Hiding, a cry to the man to reposition himself as head.
Wow.
Thank you.
I've already walked a mile. You've already taken me there, because I see today, unfortunately, especially with the advent of social media, that we are seeing a generation of hate between the girl and the boy, and it breaks my heart to watch, but this is the reality of the times that we live in. Yeah, but I would like to know, Jennifer, what are some of the challenges boys are facing as a result of being overlooked?
Now, from my observation, boys, they don't have a dream. This is a general thing. If you're a boy out there and you have a dream, kudos. But generally speaking, boys do not seem to have a dream. They don't seem to have an end in their minds. I think they just grow up and know that you should go to school. They don't, even in class. I read a book, unfortunately I forget the author, but they were talking about global statistics of the performance of boys dropping vis-a-vis that of girls. Because they're not aiming at anything. In the past, and that's from literature, I was not there in the past. In the past, a boy was groomed towards a certain known and communicated end. I used to have conversations with my father before he passed, and he could tell you how his father, who was now my grandfather, would tell him about his role as a man, as a head of a family, as a father of children. And from a very young age, at that time, in those days, a boy knew that I would be this. I am going to have this responsibility, and therefore, in order to get there, this is how I should walk. Boys don't have that sort of thing today.
Okay.
They don't even have a father to copy. Okay, if no one is saying it to them, is anyone doing it so that they can emulate? So they don't have those. They don't have milestones set for them. And I think that is a very big challenge. Now, the other challenge is the fact that there is some sort of, and this is my observation,
yes,
there's some kind of vengeful spirit around women.
How so?
I'll give you an example on TikTok. So a girl does something to a boy. You know the thing called sisterhood? And someone types, sisterhood is proud of you. Let them feel it. So there is this lingering spirit of revenge amongst women.
Towards men.
Towards men. And that a girl will have an issue with a boyfriend, boyfriend X, and carry it forward to the next boyfriend.
But
you will
Jennifer,
be punished for the sins of that boyfriend.
But Jennifer, wouldn't I be correct to say that this is what men have always done as well, and probably the women learned from the best? What would you say about that?
Because you are right, because I mean it is revenge. I'm saying it's vengeful.
Yes.
So something has happened to them, and so I don't know whether you have seen it. And so they are revenging. I think we are revenging for what we perceive to have been unfair treatment to us as women. But for me, my plea, my honest, not advice, I would like to advocate for us to drop the revenge and the thinking of I am right, he is wrong, and get to a different approach of what do we want. Because the thing that is at stake is big. And this is not a problem between one boy and one girl. It's a global thing.
You see, there is, I don't know if you've heard of the red pill and blue pill revolution. So you have social media, he's a powerhouse, Andrew Tate, telling boys, women, you're not supposed to be kind to women, you're not supposed to treat women this way. And many young men are following men like this and are doing what they're being told. They're told that you have to humble women, they're told that you have to put women in their place, that they're not supposed to be seen and not heard. I'm coming from here to drive at a point with opinion leaders like that, and with social media taking up so much space in our society, and like you said, boys not being led from a very young age to a point where they can take up responsibility, be people that are looked up to, and them now taking such advice and leadership from people like this. How do we turn the wheels of time so that the younger ones that are not yet into that red pill information do not get to have to listen to the same and follow the same? In my opinion, it is actually self-destructing advice.
As you speak, I am reminded of SMAU. You know SMAU? The stingy...
Stingy Men's Association of Uganda.
It's a revenge again. So the revenge started with us, and we said, okay, I'm going to make my money, I'm going to build my house, you think I can't look after my children, I'll look after them, I'll buy my clothes, I'll do my hair, I'll do my everything. I'll go to my office and I'll come back at 9. That's where it started. We were revenging. Maybe revenge is not the word, but you know what I mean.
Pushing back.
Pushing back.
Yes.
Thank you. And so because for a long time, the men were in that position of, I mean, I'm the big guy. I'm the leader, and I'm entitled to all those privileges. This was strange. I mean, how could they, the women? So in a bid to take back what they believe is theirs, their authority, their power, their everything, all these things are coming up. Yeah? But you're asking, how do we get out of it?
How do we turn the wheels of time? Because every year we have a young boy turning 18. That's a man. Every single year. So we could have lost a generation somewhere, but then how do we help the ones that are coming up? How do we pick them up from where they were left when we were trying to uplift the girl child?
This is my thought, that if we wait for a global wave, it may not come. I think that every individual who feels the way you feel, the way I feel, should start where they are. When I wrote this book, I was pushed by the feeling of this thing has got to change. It took me a lot of time to eventually pick up the courage to address the subject because it is very sensitive. You should see the comments I receive from some of the young men on TikTok. It's don't come into our territory. The authority of the man is up to here, don't come. Actually, even if they don't know how to use that authority, just don't encroach.
There is a time I shared a clip of Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and she's a feminist, and she likes to talk about giving women and boys the same opportunities. And when I posted it, someone came to my DMs and asked me, why do modern women like to talk about issues of boys and men?
For me, the thing I believe is that a man is not a man for himself. Your manhood is not for you, it's for us. My womanhood is not for me, it's for them. Because God made me as a woman to serve the other person. And his manhood, I mean, what do you benefit from your manhood as a man? It is the rest of us, the women and the children, that benefit from it. My womanhood is to benefit my husband or other men, and not in the sense of they can have me if they want me, but in terms of how do we complement each other. I am a man, you are a man, and I'm a woman because we complement each other that way. In and of yourself, you cannot achieve much. But to go back to the point of how do we turn back?
Yes.
I think that it is possible to lay new foundations for grooming. I think that if we deliberately sat down and started pointing boys to the fact that they need to have a purpose, because purpose it is not something we are going to import. It is within. It's just that there's a lot of trash that is covering it. Smile is covering it. Revenge is covering it. Blue pill, red pill is covering it. If we get rid of all those things and appeal to the soul of the boy and teach him purpose and teach him vision and show him that eventually he's going to be someone's husband and someone's father and a man in a certain community and point him to the need to structure his life, we can achieve. We have schools, we have structures, we have cultural structures, we have government structures, we have schools, we have religious denominational structures. All those are conduits. We can sit down the boys and talk to them. We can also tame the girl. I can tell you it feels good to be an independent woman, but it feels bad to be a lonely, independent woman. So we can tame the girls and say, hey, this power is good, but it was not for you to distract, to destroy society, to destroy the family. It wasn't for us to break down what should not be broken down. It was for us to get ourselves out of that situation that we were not enjoying and complement the man. And to the man, we have got to appreciate that the times are different. You cannot continue to exercise manhood as it was in the past, because then your wife was a stay-home woman. She was in the garden, she was in your house, she was home. But now you and I are here.
Yes.
We have left our homes.
Our children.
So how can we, as human beings, forget about who is better and who is more powerful, as two human beings who want to keep our family as that unit where we get joy, where we manufacture love, where we groom, where we comfort each other after getting out of the universe with all its noise and everything. How do we get it to thrive? You and I, forget about what the global trends are, you and I, the two of us, what should we do? I think that's how best we can look at it. Let's not wait for a UN policy or government, I don't know what. The two of us, what can we do? What do we want for this family? What do we want for our boys? What do we want for our children? I'll tell you an interesting story. Growing up, my father was this man. We were not rich. We were actually poor. In fact, not rich does not define us. We were a poor family. And my father was this man who could cast his vision. We had a coffee plantation, and he would say, that coffee is your future. And then he had already told us that education is, you know, that
is the key.
Education is the key.
Yes.
So because he said education, our future is in education. And he would also say that our
your
future
school
was
fees are
in
in the coffee.
So you would look at the coffee and connect it with the education and the good future. And my father preached that gospel. Every single one of my siblings knew that coffee, education, future. Even my mother knew it. My father was able to get this vision that he had in his head and export it into every single head in our home. To the point that even my mother knew, you know, my mother took control of the other crops, beans, peanuts, maize.
The food crops. But the father took care of.
If she ever sold any of the surplus from those crops, that money she would get and give to my father for the future of the children. Tell me, out of 100 today, how many men are able to print their visions that clearly into the heads of every child and even the wife? You don't even, as close as tomorrow, you don't know what the vision is. Because, I mean, no one told him.
So now, Jennifer, and I see where you're coming from, and this is really important. But today, again, we are facing a huge problem on our hands, and that is single-parent households. Most of our young men are being raised by moms. Now, mothers are amazing, but a mother cannot teach a boy how to be a man.
No.
But it also brings up another question, Jennifer. Where have the men gone? Why aren't fathers in the picture? At what point did we lose them in this parenting journey?
It's interesting. I read a report by one Stephen Rwanga. I don't know who he is, but I keep looking up information about fatherhood, manhood, boy, child. So I landed on this report by Stephen Rwanga, and he's talking about all those things. What has caused the single parenthood? It's a combination of things, and it's not only Stephen Rwanga's report, it's many reports. Some reports, there's a report I read by Betty Bigombe and another person. They're talking about the economic factors, the fact that the family, when you say family, it's not obvious. It's not obvious that you're talking about father, mother, and children. You're talking about so many other variations. The family has mutated over the years. And the causes of this, the economy. Once we set foot from the family and went to look for money, the women, it became prey to so many things. And not that we are at fault. That's how life has morphed. So we can't blame it on anyone. But so the fact that family could now be any combination of individuals has been a major contribution. And then number two, the level of incompatibility is increasing by the day. I have my own standards as a woman who is empowered. And by the empowerment has got a lot to do with, not only to do with education,
yes,
but even women who are not rural women. The empowerment thing has reached everywhere.
No, they are in circles,
exactly.
They are selling their produce,
yes,
they are saving money, buying land and, you know, constructing houses.
So women have ideas how they want their lives to go and the lives of the children. And therefore, when you marry this gentleman and you don't seem to see him taking the family anywhere, it's a red flag. And you know, many women you don't want to sacrifice yourself. You don't want to sink with your children. So many women have chosen to go away. The stories are on TikTok. There's a lady on TikTok who says, I could not sit in his car. You couldn't touch his car keys. You could not refer to the house as our house.
He makes his plans, yet we are in a marriage, but he makes his future plans as his future plans. So his talk is I.
Exactly. so it's, you are thinking, do I have 20 years with this man? You know that because of this, do you know how many women have big businesses in the back of their husbands that husbands don't know a thing about? Because they're thinking, security, what if? What if? I know my sister has a friend who told her about how she had 3 children, girls in a row, and the man was looking for a boy. So he went out and got him, and his wife got to know about it. So she said, if he has got a boy, what if he decides to actually marry the other person? What would be the fate of my children and I? So she said she looked for funds, bought a piece of land and built rentals. And guess who does not know about it?
The husband. So there is this mistrust between the sexes. And at the end of the day, I want us to still dial back and relate this to our conversation today.
Yes.
When there is this mistress where the wife now has a staff, property, riches that the husband doesn't know about, what is this teaching the boy child in this home?
Don't trust women. And that's why we see what we see. There's a video I did, and I was talking about this, and I said that because of the so many things that have happened and reshaped the woman, the husband needs to play his role within this new context. And I gave an example. If, for instance, your wife is a CEO, she's going to be very different in terms of how much time she's able to dedicate to child care,
children, and even to
yourself.
Yes.
The garden, if she gets there at all. You know, it's going to be very, very different. So as husband, you need to have that at the back of your mind as you play your role as husband. And then I gave an example of she gets into a meeting that might go up to 9 p.m. and gives you a call and says, you know, honey, I might actually be late. I just got into a meeting. And a son of a man responded to that video. I can't even say the stuff he said. But look, was I wrong?
This is how life has evolved, and this is how relationships have also evolved. So Jennifer, when it comes to boys,
yes,
there are patriarchal expectations, and how I would like for you to, from your experience and all these reports that you have looked at, I would like for you to tell us, how does the pressure to conform to traditional gender roles affect the mental and emotional well-being of boys in Uganda? And I want to relate it to the example you just gave of this person has a wife who is probably a high-ranking official or a CEO. I mean, let me give you an example. Right now in Uganda, our vice president is a woman, our prime minister is a woman, the head of the permanent secretary, Minister of Health, is a woman, the Minister of Education and Sports is a woman, and these are all wives. Okay, we have the former Minister of Ethics and Integrity, Miriam Matembe, a woman and a married woman. Okay, so when you look at societal expectations and patriarchal, actually, expectations on these boys, they want them to conform. You'll find that this man married to a CEO is actually okay with the wife coming home at 9 p.m. after a meeting. But then because of patriarchal expectations, they're asking him, are you even man enough? Why would you let something like this happen? So how does the pressure to conform affect the well-being of our young men?
Now, let me just mention, apparently, a joint research by Makerere University and Butabika Hospital in 2023 showed that the rate of mental what is it called?
Mental illness?
Mental illness.
Yes.
At that time was about 30% for the Ugandan population. Now, I don't know what portion is male and what portion is female. But one of the reasons why I decide to talk about the challenges of the boy child and how the whole thing is impacting everything is because of the fact that we are struggling to marry the patriarchal expectations with what is happening today. Now, speaking from that perspective of patriarchy, we believe or think that the man should provide, the man should head, the man should know, as in the man should pull off miracles, the man should bring the money, you should be able to do things. So when he is not able, when he's not able, even before anyone condemns him, he's already condemning himself. So
there is nothing you're going to say to him that he hasn't already said to himself. So
all the talk that we have today, by the way, it's an outcry now. Oh, boys are weak, boys are stupid, men are misers, men are stingy, men are stupid, men are lazy, men are not focused, men. There's a lot of talk in that direction, which I think is not fair on the man, on the boy child, because it's not laziness per se. It's a lot like how the woman finds herself where she is now, the man has found himself where he is now. So for me, I would not like for us to say it is his fault. I think that the situation he's in is one of, first of all, being very uncomfortable with this woman, this, what's the word? Very strong. A very strong woman by his side is a source of discomfort for him. He will not say it, but it is.
Because the patriarchy says he has to be the strong one.
You have to be the strong one.
Yes.
So if your wife is wielding such power, it is scary. I am told by some people who have done research that one of the reasons for gender-based violence, where it's the man who is being violent, is to show that I am still the strong one. To
assert power.
Exactly.
To assert authority.
If I cannot get authority peacefully, I will use the fist.
I'll get it violently.
I'll get it violently.
There are many reports of strong women that are also successful in their careers being actually affected by domestic violence. I was one time having a conversation on domestic violence with a lady here, a lawyer who is an advocate for women, and she did say that even as advocates, you're going to find our colleagues being affected by domestic violence. I'll give you an example. Rebecca Cheptegei, her husband doused, actually an ex-boyfriend, not even husband, doused her with petrol. Why? Because she had got money, she had bought land, and she refused to put his name on the land. So, Jennifer, if you ask me, this conversation around the boy child and even the girls, it's really intertwined. Whatever solution we need to find, we have to find for both. I would like to pick your mind on the initiatives that have been put in place to uplift women, okay? These initiatives normally target women. So they will come to, let's say, the market, talk to women, give them loans. But these women have husbands, and the husbands are supposed to be the authority in the home. So what do you think is the downside to coming in to help women minus having a conversation with the husbands?
That is part of what caused the problem in the very first place. That is why I stated that the number one victim of the disempowering, the position of the man now, the number one victim is not the man. Because the man is in oblivion. The number one victim is the woman. Because I am being given all this power, but I don't have the room to exercise it. Women have got loans, and for some of these women, these efforts have caused their separation from their husbands. I think that the better approach would be, like you say, to have them side by side. And that is why I assert that we should leave the battle of who is better, who is bigger, who is more powerful, because that is total futility. And focus on what do we want as human beings. What do we want? I think that we want peace. I think we want a happy family. I think that we want a thriving family.
Yes.
So then what should we do? It's useless to say, oh, it is the fault of the man, it is the fault of the woman. The thing is, we have all found ourselves, a lot of things have happened and brought us to the page we are at. So what do we do from here?
Okay.
Because we have a whole posterity.
Yes.
We have a baton to pass on. What quality of baton are we going to pass on? I believe that the quality of the relationship between the husband and wife, or mother and father, has a direct impact on the quality of society. When you go to TikTok and hear what the children on TikTok say, the things that the children on TikTok do, they're a reflection of the quality of the relationship at home.
So if there was no father in the home, then there is no one for the boy child to look up to.
I don't know how to be a father. If there is a father who has 8 women and has 16 children from them,
he can't be physically or even mentally available to them as and when they need him.
So you grow as you grow, and that's what you have to give to us.
Now, Jennifer, I have comments that are coming through, and someone, Kafas Eri Chapo, says many boys are not listened to. I don't know why. And Taevas Taewa from Nasana says most boys lack nurturing by their parents and environment. People tend to know that boys don't need guidance, hence leading them to bad behavior and poor sanitation. Therefore, it's high time parents, teachers and community wake up to train a boy child for the betterment of our country. That is from Ivasi Taewa in Nasana. And then true. Godwin says, Bakashaba Godwin says, differences in terms of wallet earnings among partners, especially when the woman is earning much more, creating disrespect to the man. Jennifer, I would like to ask, is it really automatic that when a woman is earning higher than the man, she automatically disrespects him, or it is in the mind of the man that since I'm not financially fluid like she is, then whatever she's doing, she's going to disrespect me?
I think it does not come automatically. Speaking generally, of course, there are some women who will be disrespectful because they have the money, but it is not always obvious that if I earn more than he does, I will disrespect him. I think at this point I would like to mention to the men watching that there is a tool that you can use to bring your wife to a level where even if she earns more, she will respect you, and that tool is called leadership. If you can cast a vision and this wife sees where you are taking her and the children, I want to think that she will work with you to bring it to pass.
Okay.
It's about painting for me, I am a very big advocate for leadership by the man, by the head of paint the vision. I would be a crazy woman to sabotage the vision of my own family for the well-being of my own children. And I refuse to put money and time and effort in it, the vision of my husband. But the problem is there's no vision. Even tomorrow's vision.
So women, these empowered women want to be led, but the man does not have the resources to lead them. So I would like to hear from you, our dear viewer. What are your views regarding this? The challenges of the boy child. You can actually call us through the number that is on your screen, which is 0709-602-592. You can call in to share your views, but also you can send us a direct message or a WhatsApp message for us to get your view regarding the same. I am speaking to Jennifer Mudondo on matters children. She has a book which is The Giant in Hiding, and The Giant in Hiding, a cry to the man to reposition himself as head of the family, head of different institutions, but we know that the smallest unit of our community is the family. That's where everything starts. And from the conversation I've had with Jennifer, I do realize that she says we have to go back to the family. This is where everything needs to be fixed. What's the relationship between parents like? What's the relationship between partners like? Even if family has morphed into different small units, it is still important, because let's say, Jennifer, if parents have decided to be co-parents, they're not married, but they're raising children, they can still work out something that can benefit the children, yes, and in long term benefit the country.
That's true.
So I have another comment here. Oh, we have a call coming through. Hello? Hello? Well, we lost him, but you can call us through the number 0709-602-592. It is also displayed on your screen.
Hello?
Now, Hans Dennis says, thanks for the program.
From Gulu.
Yes, please. Please step away from your television so that we can hear you clearly. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Please step away from your TV so
Yes,
that we can hear you clearly.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm calling from Gulu.
Yes. What's your name?
The issue is one, when women are empowered and they have resources, they tend not to.
We lost him. We lost him. But I have a comment from Hans Dennis. He says, thanks for the program. The host is being realistic upon what is challenging the boy child. The rights and the privileges women have always lead to disgracing families, as women think they are so superior to men, forgetting their positions. This is from Dennis. Jennifer, what would you have to say about that?
Hello?
We have another call coming through, sorry. Hello? Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine. Who am I speaking to?
I'm sorry.
I beg your pardon?
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you. Please share your views regarding our topic of discussion.
Hello.
Hello? We lost him. Jennifer, you are going to answer that question about positions.
Dennis.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you, Dennis, for watching and listening in. It's true. There's such a thing as positions. The wife position and the husband position. But you know, every coin has two sides. It is true that the empowering of the women could have given many women a and I'm being very careful with my choice of words, maybe misunderstanding of their position. You see, when you have resources and you could be independent, but if you are in an environment that cultivates the sort of thing that Dennis is talking about, it's very possible to be misled. I don't know whether you get what I'm saying. I am empowered, I have the money, I have the name, and I'm in an environment where my mate is not empowered, is not leading, is not doing what he is supposed to do. I am highly, speaking as me, I will not let my family sink. I will do what it takes. And now what it takes in the head of this woman is to take the reins away from you.
Jennifer, just a moment. We have a caller. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
How are you?
Yes, about the issue of
Who are we speaking to,
women
first of all?
more than men.
Okay.
Yes, some women, mostly in the young ladies, tend to brag a lot about the money they earn, or about the offices, or the offices they are working in, and they tend to discuss us. But to some extent, it depends to the man. It's about the man. The man has to direct the lady on how to behave and how to be, and how the man has to dominate at the end of the day.
We lost him, but he says that when women are younger, they like to brag about the offices and the jobs that they have. And also he says that sometimes men fail to direct the relationship and the women, at least if I got that right. Yes. And Jennifer, we are coming to the end of our conversation, but you can give us your last comment. Maybe you could answer that or your own. Yeah.
Okay. So let me just, in response to the caller and the previous caller, Dennis, I think that what we need to teach the generation is what is at stake. I don't think people know what is at stake. And for me, what is at stake is life itself. Because I mean, what's the point of having human beings walking around who are devoid of humanity? And humanity is brewed at home, in the family, by the husband and the wife. And the quality of the relationship between this husband and the wife is going to determine the quality of boys and girls that we have. So the young people who are bragging, the girls who are bragging about money and office, and the boys who are saying, a boy told me that all that matters is your body count.
Okay.
Yeah, they are speaking like that because they don't know what is at stake. For us who grew up a little earlier, know the good things we used to have because we had intact families where daddy would say a thing and you would all
follow,
you know, and mommy would follow. The context has changed, but we can still use those principles to brew good stuff for society. The children do not know what is at stake. So what we should do is tell them what is at stake and show them the direction. For men,
purpose, vision, goals, and for women, working with the men, bringing what you have.
Thank you, Jennifer. Maybe one quick one. Where can we find this book?
You can find copies with Mukono Bookshop, Uganda Bookshop, Aristoc, AfricanBooks.com, Amazon, and Scripture Union, Nakula, even Gastro.
Okay, and how much is the book?
Depends on where you go for it. Aristoc has it, I think, at about 45. The rest are 30,000.
Okay. All right. So you can find the book, The Giant in Hiding by Jennifer Mudondo. It is addressing the issues of the boy child today. And as I conclude, Dr. Jita Ronnie says, my opinion is let's take both sexes as children or human beings. Me, I've raised them, treating them equally. I don't believe in taking a girl special, but I make sure that boys, they have a role to protect their sisters, and when they grow up, I encourage them to protect their wives the same way they were protecting their sisters. And Bachwa Emos says, as men, we keep wondering when a man is purchasing something. As ladies, you want to be on the agreement, but for you, when you're buying, you don't want to mention the men. As Jennifer said, we need to go back on the drawing board and train both genders that a relationship or marriage means supporting and complementing each other. Families neglected sharing with their children on future roles and responsibilities. We just meet for experimentals. Recently, as a community worker, I had a chat with women, and they were telling me that women love conditionally, whereas men are like dogs. For them, they love unconditionally. This is already a mismatch that makes couples move in parallels. By the way, men are so good, and to a large extent, when it comes to empathy. That is a comment from Amos from Hoima. I can't share all the views that you've shared because we've run out of time, but thank you so much for being a part of the show. Let's keep the conversation going on our X platform, and the hashtag is UBCGMU. Thank you for watching. The show continues.